This episode of Popcorn Culture is brought to you by Ben and I's ambitions to be a hip-hop artist and beatbox our way to the top.
All the way.
All the way.
All the way. All the way. I started beatboxing to Addie in the bathtub, and she'll go. It's pretty awesome. I'm like, you get it.
Yes.
It is so interesting.
You're so musical.
I know. What's poppin', everybody? Hello and welcome to Popcorn Culture. My name is Ben Carlin, and I am your host. Here with me today is my brother Jay, who will be in every episode.
I'm here again. I made it back for another show. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Well, you're welcome. Thank you for being here is what I mean to say.
Yes, you're welcome.
I think I've decided that whenever I'm doing the intro, it needs to take me the exact same amount of time. So if I linger on the like, what's poppin', everybody? Hello and welcome. It's like,
your brain is doing like some mental math to like speed up everything else to the exact right moment.
To make sure I've got plenty, like the correct amount of time.
Yeah.
So
it is funny. Yeah, it's weird, like the kind of like time math your brain can do. Like sometimes at the end of the J-verse bends, like we'll need to like go back and record the thank you to all the patrons after we've like gotten all the names on a list. And I think when Riley got here, the editor, he was like, I don't know how you guys do it, but it's always exactly 30 seconds.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I was like, I don't know.
Do we have a hidden secret talent that we had no idea about? Okay, can I just tell you that once upon a time, I feel like we were talking about manifesting things here on the pop.
Yeah.
And to the best of my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is something that you're sure happens.
Oh, I mean,
like,
yeah, no doubt.
And there can be no doubt that no one can get a parking spot closer to the door than you.
Sure, if you say so.
No, it's true. It's true. I've seen it happen. I've seen the magic work. I like riding with you places because it means I won't have to walk as far.
Oh, this is what an interesting thing, because you normally like to drive places.
I do normally like to drive places, but when we travel somewhere together, it is so nice knowing that there will be a parking spot because I'm like under the aura of your spell. However, one of the things that we've also talked about here on the pop a lot is the crossword puzzle brain, which is totally one of these things that I have 100% bought into. So
it's not. I don't even think it's for you to buy into. I think it's just science.
Well, I mean, and yes, maybe that's exactly it. But I feel like I have gotten to the point where I'm like delegating. I'm gonna back up. In case you're unfamiliar with what crossword puzzle brain is, this is how it works. People who do crossword puzzles a lot basically can go through all of the questions and they might know like on the tip of their tongue the answer to one, but they can't think of it off the top of their mind. So they will literally like send a piece of their brain to work on solving the question of that clue.
Go search through all the file cabinets of brain until you find the correct answer, and then bring it back to me.
So it's like, you might get like 10 or 11 clues later in the crossword puzzle and you'd be like, boom, I got it. Bowling Green. I knew it.
But it also might be like, ideally, probably if you do a lot of crossword puzzles, you can start getting like more immediate feedback loops like that. But this happens all the time where it maybe instead of like 10 clues later, it's like 10 days later, and suddenly you're just like Portuguese.
Yes, exactly. Well, so this is what I mean though, is that like I feel like this was like a thought where I was like, well, that's really cool. Like I wonder if that works. And so like when I can't think of things, I will literally be like, okay, brain, one of you up there, go and work on it. Let me know when you found it.
Right.
I'm gonna think about something else. And it is like oddly calming to me.
Wow.
Because it's like one of these things where I'm like, it can be so frustrating like when you can't think of something. Like over the weekend, I was in Nashville for the marathon, and brother-in-law Mike was with me, and he was trying to like figure out he could remember the last 3 words of a song, but he couldn't remember like anything else from it. And those words are like such common like punk pop lyrics that it's like searching for it is not going to yield anything because every song has them. And so it's just like, like immediately Big Steve and I were like scrolling through our phones. We're like, is it this? And he's like, no. I'm like, is it this? He's like, no. And then he eventually figured it out. And it was like one of those like big aha moments, but it'll drive you crazy if you can't think of it.
Oh my gosh. Not to talk about a podcast on a podcast. But I remember listening to one, I think it was by the podcast Reply All, where this guy had like remembered this earworm of a song from like a decade ago, and he's like the only person. He had like a perfect memory of it.
No
And-
way.
And he was just like, and he like went to go like try and look it up online one day, and he couldn't find it. And he was like typing in the lyrics, and he would like sing it to other people. And he went as far as to like going to LA to like find a music producer who could bring in professional musicians, and he like produced the song from memory with the people in the room and like sang the vocals himself, and was like, what is this? Someone needs to recognize it. And like finally he was just like, is this crazy? Did I just like make this up in my brain? Like I heard it on the radio. I swear. And it was like this like Bare Naked Ladies-esque kind of song that kind of like this like very earwormy.
Okay.
And people would listen to it and they'd be like, yeah, it sounds like, I feel like I remember hearing it, but I don't think that. And he went back and eventually he like typed in the lyrics on Facebook of all places. And there was this like one guy who had posted it, and it turned out he was the original artist, and he had been like picked up by the same record company like as I think Bare Naked Ladies or something.
No way.
And like they were like, he was like on the fast track to like have his song released out to, like on the radio and be like a hit single or whatever. And then it just like all fell apart because like, I guess one of the things they do is they like test it in really small markets. And that's where he initially heard it on the radio, like, decades beforehand, and it just didn't catch on. So they just dropped him, and that was basically it. But like this one guy completely remembered it and loved it.
No way.
And just like could not
stuck with
find it
him.
again. And was just like, am I getting Mandela effect here? Like how could this be?
Could you imagine though, like if like what if the song had never existed and this guy had just like manufactured in his brain out of nowhere a song into creation?
Yeah.
It's just like, whoa.
That feels like a time loop's happening. Like, how can I remember this?
Right. That's like like time travel is real proof, like confirmed.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, I'm sure.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. But like, no, I mean, this is definitely like what I've started doing. By the way, I just want to say your memory and ability to like recall that much of the story is baffling to me. Like when you had no idea that we were going to talk about this today, and this is just like this is literally just your recall abilities at work. My version of that same story would have gone something like, I listened to a podcast once where a guy couldn't remember like a song. He heard it on the radio one time, and then it turns out that it was this band that like had like a one-off single on the radio, and he only heard it that one time, and that's the reason like he couldn't find it anywhere else. That's my version of the story. And mine took like 12 seconds, and I think yours was like a full like minute and a half of like recall.
Right.
So very impressive. The ups and downs. I was with you the whole way.
Oh man.
We'll try to find and link that episode in the show notes, unless you just made it up in your head.
Wow, do I only think I remember hearing it on a podcast?
Can you imagine if like
That'd be
you like,
so
you like
weird.
scroll through and you're like, I know it was a
I know it
reply
was here.
all. Like,
Well,
I
so
have to re-listen to the whole library.
The thing about that is that it feels the thing that almost could happen, because that was in like the older days of Reply All. They had like a little bit of a fiasco like a couple years ago around 2019 when they were covering the YouTube show Bon Appetit.
Okay.
And like the things they were covering about Bon Appetit, the YouTube channel, which was blowing up at the time, it turned out that the hosts themselves were practicing at their own place of business. So the producers were like, I guess this is extremely hypocritical and we need to bring this up. And then like one of the hosts left. So that host was probably a part of the episode I was talking about. And I assume all of the episodes would still be in their library, but I suppose it's conceivable that they just like deleted their back library or something.
It is so odd to me
Yeah.
because so exactly what you're just describing is in reference to the podcast about the guy who's trying to remember a song that he can't discover because of this unusual circumstance wherein the song was like lost to time. This podcast episode could quite literally be the exact same
That'd be
thing.
so meta.
I know.
And then someday this episode won't exist.
No.
We're recording, right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This feels
I know.
like
Yeah,
one of
I
those
know.
times.
It's like we look over and it's like, Jay, we didn't get any of it.
No.
We just had, oh, that would be so sad.
Man, so it sounds like you said Mike was crossword braining something.
So he was
A
trying
song,
to,
yeah.
yes, he was trying to, and it was a song by Good Charlotte. And now, literally, the entire time at the start of this conversation, I sent a piece of my brain to try to remember what the Good Charlotte song.
Oh, no.
The little things, the little things. Is that a Good Charlotte song?
But you're asking the wrong person.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna look it up. So you continue to talk and be interesting for 3 seconds while I pull out my phone and go to goodcharlotte.com.
Well, the good news is you've kept talking whilst you were Googling it, so I haven't had to say anything too terribly interesting just yet. I remember the band Good Charlotte in general, but it falls into this like category of bands from the 90s that I feel like all had like one-hit wonders that I don't remember anything other than like the name of them.
Can I just applaud you for nailing that? I need you to talk about something, and you did.
Oh,
Until
thank
I found
you.
the lyric I was looking for. Well done. No silence whatsoever, guys. We're doing very minimal. We're doing some heavy lifting for Ethan the editor this week.
Well, we have such a great slate of things on the agenda to talk about too. So this has been it's been a fun tangent immediately in true popcorn culture style.
Okay, just tell me how difficult for pop punk songs these 3 words. These are the only 3 words he could remember were "I'm breaking down."
Oh yeah, that sounds like it's almost like it could be in so many.
It's like
pop punk songs.
It's almost the anthem of the entire pop punk era of music.
Yes.
Is this exact sentiment. So anyway, we got to jam out.
Can I
to some
ask
Good
you
Charlotte.
something?
Yeah, please do.
This is another Ben and Jay Suck at Music situation. Is it Smells Like Teen Spirit or Team Spirit?
I think it's Teen Spirit.
But you don't know.
I don't know.
You said teen?
I think it's teen.
Like teenager.
Teenager.
Smells like teenager spirit.
Not teenager.
Not team spirit.
Teen smells like teen spirit. Now it really sounds
I
wrong.
know, right?
I'm looking
because
it up
like
as well.
team spirit is something you like have like on any sports team, but teen spirit sounds like a clever play on the,
Confirmed teen spirit.
teen spirit.
Yeah.
Haven't known that my whole life. Been guessing the whole time.
It's like,
And that's like one of those like anthem songs.
no,
you know?
it totally is.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those where it's like, yeah, smells like Team Spirit.
Yeah,
And like,
exactly.
What did you just say?
Yeah,
What
smells
did
like
you
Team
just say?
Spirit. Team
Slow
Spirit.
down and say it again. It
Team
smells
Spirit.
like what? What?
Ethan is dying listening to this back right now. He's like, I can't believe they don't know the answer to this.
It's so true. It's so true. That song, actually, I just in the past, like Alice and I will listen to. We'll have like our Alexa playing music all throughout the day, and so I actually am just positively obsessed with song covers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why. I feel like whenever somebody does a cover of a song, I feel like they tend to enunciate the words of the song in a way that allows me to actually understand what the first person was saying. Like,
interesting.
Yeah, like I almost feel like the cover does a better job because like they want to make sure that you know that they're singing someone else's song, and so I end up like understanding the song better through the cover than I did through the original.
Well, so you must have had a great time in Nashville. That's like the song cover capital of the world, right?
It truly and honestly was. I will tell you. Okay, so we'll go ahead. We'll jump off. We'll see if we can jump off and maybe go backwards or something. So one of the big things about traveling to Nashville for the marathon was like it's kind of like going to a conference literally anywhere, which is that like it's like, oh yeah, guys, the big conference gonna be held in like Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
Come on out and explore all that Dallas has to offer. And then you get there and it's like, I was at the convention center the whole time.
Right,
So
exactly. So
I
didn't really experience Dallas.
Right. I have seen the Dallas airport, and I have seen the Dallas Convention Center, and I have seen the inside of a Camry because those are the Uber cars.
Right.
And
All Ubers are Camrys.
all Ubers are Camrys. Headcanon. But when you travel for a marathon, there is the small inconvenience, which is that you are running a marathon while you are there. And so like, we got there the first night and it's like, oh man, it's so cool. Like we're in Nashville. How fun is this and everything? But it's like, but we really need to like go and get like a solid square meal. Like we need something like healthy. We need to be drinking like just like lots of water.
Yeah.
We probably need to get to bed early because
Yeah.
we're gonna have to be up early. And then the next day, it's like you like wake up and you like are running the marathon itself, which is is just like completely and utterly exhausting. So
Yeah.
the rest of the day, you're pretty
just too
much
tired.
You're pretty much too tired, and every single time you stand up, you're just like, ow, ow,
Everything
ow.
hurts and I'm dying.
Yes,
Yeah.
pretty much. And so pretty much it was like you got through night 1 where you were resting for the thing, night 2 where you were resting from the thing, and then night 3 was kind of like, okay, let's go do something.
Right.
And so we, it pretty much took us most of the day to finally like peel ourselves off of like any type of cushioned surface in order to venture out and do anything at all.
Yeah.
And here's a question in general, again, like just completely failing at music. But the whole time I kept being like, yeah, let's go down to Nashville or let's go downtown and like go to a honky tonk. And I was like, is that right? Is that what we're doing? Like, you know, and it's like I went to Nashville and I went to one of these establishments of which there are basically exclusively these establishments on an entire main street of a major city. That is like what Broadway in Nashville is.
Man, I guess I would have thought like honky tonk was more like a word for like an entire town rather than like a specific kind of bar.
Interesting.
Well, I could be wrong about that now that I think about it.
You know what? It's entirely possible that I am wrong. However, so we're like walking around, and it was definitely the case where Mike at first was like, all right, let's find like, look, what's the spot to go? And at first, I think we definitely found like the local spot.
Yeah.
It was like you walked in, and it was like country music, but like country music in its like most authentic form.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, maybe this isn't what we were aiming for. So we ended up leaving that one. We went to the next one where it was like we had like a exactly like you were saying, like a fantastic cover band.
Right.
And somewhere along the way, we discovered that they kept talking about like taking requests. They were like, oh man, like we appreciate all y'all's requests. Like these are perfect. Thank you so much. And they were playing amazing, and it was really cool and everything. And we realized that they had their Venmo up on the screen behind them, and that was how you requested a song. So I did that, and they played a song, and it was really awesome.
Oh,
and
man.
so much fun. I know.
Okay, so confirmed, a honky tonk is both a bar that provides country music for the entertainment of its patrons and the style of music played in such establishments. It can also refer to the type of piano, tack piano, used to play such music. So I have been misinformed about this word more or less, other than its association with country music.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you knew country music, but from there you really thought it was a larger ecosystem.
I would have thought it meant like the style of town where that music is like generated from, or that kind of music is about.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was clearly wrong.
Okay, interesting.
Anyway.
Interesting. Okay, well, can I ask you a question? I'm gonna volley it back at you over here. Okay, so over the weekend and this month in general, over on our Patreon, we've been hosting a step competition.
That
right?
we have.
Yes, which has been an enormous amount of fun. And
Yes.
if you are looking for a good community activity, we do them like kind of like every other month-ish on any of the Super Carlin Brothers affiliated Discord server. And I, all through the month of April, I was like, oh, this is so perfect because I've got the marathon. I've got like my big training run, like my 20-miler. I'm going to have like a 10-miler in there, a 7-miler, and then, of course, the full marathon itself.
Right.
I was like, this is going to be great. And somehow, some way, last week, despite having my marathon, you passed me.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Well, I got to tell you, I have been putting down some serious steps. There's no doubt about it.
There is no doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
What is going on through your head? Like, because I noticed you put literally just the words walking addiction.
I have like started to wonder if that's like, I mean, I'm sure people get like addicted to exercise, and maybe I think I'm experiencing like a light form of it.
Okay.
So to speak, like we've done the step competitions in the past, and I do like really enjoy it, and I do bust out the treadmill desk situation, and I'll go to town on it. I think one day in particular, I don't know what was the circumstance, but we just had like nothing to like interrupt us for like a very long time. Okay. And I managed to get like all the way up to like 28,000 steps just like at the office one day.
Which is absurd.
Yeah, it's absurd for sure. It's like, I think I've been roughly walking like 13 to 15 miles a day here.
From work. It's
From
like you're
work,
coming
yeah.
up, it's like, I filmed 3 videos, wrote a script, walked 13 miles. It's like, you did what now?
Yeah, so I fit like when I got there the first time, because so the way our step competitions work is that you can like we cap it at 30,000 countable steps per day. Of course, you can keep walking. It just won't increase your total per the step competition.
Yeah, just sort
so
of
that people don't try and go crazy and like hurt themselves trying to win the competition.
Right. Where there is no first place prize or anything. It's just pure, bragging rights if you so choose to.
Yeah, there is no actual prize or anything, but I can see where like people can get very competitive, which of course I am.
I was going to say us included in that.
Us included. Yeah, but so I got there because like as long as we've been doing step competitions, I had never gotten to like 30,000 steps in a day.
Okay.
I think even if I look back, the only time I've like really cracked it more or less was when we did that Linville Gorge hike.
Yes.
And we got up to like 37,000 steps that day.
Which was a beastly day.
Which was a beastly day to be sure. And that still I think is my max day, at least on my Pacer app.
Okay.
But after I got to it the first day, I was like, oh my, like it felt like so good. I was like so happy and so proud of myself that I was like, all right, tomorrow I'm gonna see if I'm gonna try and like repeat it again.
Yeah.
And then it was another day where it was like a little bit slower at the office. Like we've been saying for a while, like it feels like we keep having like one or two more obligations per week than we want. And like we've sort of like been saying to ourselves, like we need to like try and say no to more things or not accept as many like meetings or whatever.
Right.
And like, you can say that, but for a while you still have the ones you already set up. But it seemed like in the past couple of weeks, like those have like finally like fizzled a little.
Yes.
So like we had like a good string of days in a row where it was just like we didn't really have anything other than the actual work itself. And as such, I could just turn it on and just go.
Right.
And I was like, I got to it the second day, and then I got to it for the third day in a row, and then I was just like on a roll. So I was just I'm not just gonna see how many days in a row I can do it. But it has definitely gotten to the point where like there are times I'll just be at the house, and I'm just gonna keep moving. Like I can't stop moving. I can't. Like I must I'm finding it very hard to like sit still at all now.
Interesting.
Where it's just like I gotta keep moving, gotta keep walking, gotta like don't. So I don't know. That's sort of been what's been going on step competition wise for the past couple of weeks me.
It's very interesting, and we talked about this a lot on the trip because I feel like there's sort of like a very unexpected or like an oxymoron style of a situation, I think, when it comes to stepping or physical activity or whatever, which is that like I think very frequently it can actually boost your energy to be exerting this energy.
Yeah.
Like I feel like on days where I go and like throw down, like 15, 20,000 steps on the treadmill at work, I come home and I actually am more energized for the rest of the night. And I'm like more present, like doing bath time with Addie or like reading her books and stuff like that. It's like I feel so much more dialed in, which is the exact opposite because you're literally exerting more energy overall.
Right.
So it's almost like, are you someone who naps every day? What you should do next time you're feeling a nap, go for a walk. And it's like I know that probably sounds like the most just like it's like, yeah, that's not going to help. I am certain that's not going to help. I dare you to do it though.
Yeah.
I dare you. It's a challenge extended.
Do it. Yeah, get out there, do some walking, get some steps in. Yeah, so I've been having just a lot of fun with the step competition this particular month. And then it's like once I had a couple of 30,000 days under me, then it's like you can look at the leaderboard and it's like, man, I moved up a bunch.
It's like, you know what? Turns out that makes a difference.
Yeah, turns out that makes a difference. I can keep rolling here. So I think I might be in. I know I was in range of getting into second place. I don't know if I've quite gotten there.
Oh my gosh!
At the moment,
yeah, you were. I mean, you win. I saw you like scraping your way up the leaderboard. It was actually really fun to like refresh every day, and it would be like 27th overall, then it was like 19th overall, then it was like 12th overall, then it was like 5th overall, and it was like, what is happening?
Yeah. So it looks like whoever is in second at the moment is clearly aware of the pressure being put upon them because they are throwing down some. I mean, obviously, if they're in second, they're already putting down lots of steps every day. But I feel like I was closing the gap pretty good on them, and I feel like they're now actively fending me off.
Okay.
So hard to say, but we're gonna try and we'll see if we can get there.
You got this. You got
I don't
this.
think first place is attainable at all because the person in first I think has gotten 30,000 every single day the whole month. So
you either need to
lest they drop off entirely, which seems extremely unlikely at this point.
Right. You either get a match wits with them or something else has to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. I will say that one of the things that I feel like really was difficult for me was I did have my marathon day where I threw down 53,000 steps, which is the most I've ever had in a single day before.
Crazy.
Which was really bonkers. And like I think for reference, at the end of the marathon I had like 49,000, which meant that I did not move a whole lot.
Yeah, the rest of the day.
The rest of the day. But the like 1-2 punch there was that like biggest step day of my life, which meant that on Saturday I easily got my full 30K in. However, it was a 7-hour drive from Roanoke to Nashville. So the day prior, not only was I like also trying to like conserve some energy, but like it was like I was in the car for most of the day, didn't have a huge opportunity.
Right, so like you couldn't walk.
To go get my steps in.
Yeah.
And then marathon day, obviously maxed out. The next day, I was just like destroyed.
Right.
You know, and it was like I was like, I'm not gonna get a lot of steps because I can't move. Like,
right.
You know, it was like we were all making jokes like in the Airbnb, which was like 3 floors of stairs to go up and down. And it was like we were just like, should we go get food? And it was like, no, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like
we'll just sit here.
Why don't we
and
just
rest.
sit here and watch Jurassic World Dominion instead?
Nice.
Which is what we did. That movie was not good, by the by. Just as a,
a
a
is
total
that the third
brief
one?
aside. Yeah, it's the third one.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but then the next day was our travel home day, and so it was like another 7 hours in the car. So
right.
I was like, I feel like I had like my big Saturday, but like otherwise I've been grouped around by a bunch of smaller days. So I feel like I've probably slipped back in the standings a little bit. I've been too afraid to look.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, go ahead and lay it on me.
All right. You're still in top 10.
Oh, okay.
You're in 9th at the moment.
9th.
Yes.
9th.
Yep.
Okay.
Only by 1,000.
Okay. Who's in front of me?
In front of you is Casey. They are ahead by 9,000, and you are presently fending off Dakota by 1,000. Wow. And then after that, it's like another 10,000 down to 11. So you've got a little bit of a buffer to stay in the top 10.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Everybody keep your eyes and ears close on the comp. We'll be sure to keep you posted as we go forward. But so that is interesting, though. So I know that we've talked about this a lot before. Like you had your month-long Peloton challenge.
Yep.
That was the Peloton a day in the month of April.
Yeah. So that was last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, maybe April is just a good month for me to be moving.
I know. But it's starting to get warm again. It's like, okay,
let's
I'm
go.
in. I know that your big thing with that whole month was sort of like you had the mission, you had the goal, you had the surroundings of it, and then it was sort of like, boom, did it, done. And you got to the end of the month and it was like, I'm not going to touch the Peloton again for like couple months.
Yeah, I know. So I'm very curious. Like I think there's like 6 days left in the step competition at the office, and so I'm wondering how it is going to translate once we get out of the month of April. Like if I will try and continue to keep up with the walking, or if it'll just like completely die off now that the the framework around the competition is gone.
Right.
I will say that I think there's a greater likelihood that this one would stick around, maybe not in like a hit 30,000 every day kind of situation. But like with the Peloton, I remember it was like such an effort to be like, get down there and be like, oh yeah, I got to go do it. Like just cause I don't want to like fail. Whereas this one feels like much more like natural and just like a part of my day. It doesn't require like when you do the Peloton, it's like you have to set aside time from everything else you're doing. Whereas with the walking, I can just sort of do it passively while I do other things.
Well, but I'm going to say that, like, I would applaud you for that, because I know that for me, I have the issue sometimes with the walking desk, which is almost like when you're driving around and you're in like an unknown location, you're following like your GPS or something, and you turn down the music so that you can read street signs better.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I have that experience where it's like I'll be typing on a script or something like that, or trying to like flesh out an idea, and I'm like, I can't be walking and thinking this critically at the same time.
Right.
But you seem to have like phased through that in a way that I think is actually pretty impressive.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you're even at the point where I feel like you're photoshopping while walking.
Yeah.
which is it's like, it feels like the type of thing you almost need like both hands to like keep like the mouse,
to like keep it going there.
Right.
Yeah. I have been doing some. I've been doing the thumbnails, with the treadmill desk going. There's been a few things that have been like too persnickety where I need to like sometimes like step on the rails for a second to like focus in real quick and like do it.
Right.
And like nudge it those last few pixels or something.
Alternatively, if anybody's like, man, their thumbnails would look super sloppy lately. I mean, maybe that's the.
Oh, hopefully not.
No,
hopefully not.
I'm just kidding. That would be so funny if it was like, well, I can't. Like, I'm not going to stop walking. Obviously, it's like okay, you might have like a problematic level relationship with the stepping here. If it's like no, that's really funny. But it's an interesting one to me too as well because one of the big things for me about the marathon is that like our parents ran their first marathon when we were kids. I think in the year 1996, they did the San Francisco Marathon.
That sounds right.
Okay. Which means that for me, since roughly the age of 6 or 7, this has pretty much been something that has been on the old bucket list.
Yeah.
Before I even knew the term bucket list, it was like, well, I want to do that someday. Like,
of course.
I want to go out and run that far and have the tinfoil blanket afterwards.
Did you do the tinfoil blanket?
I didn't get a tinfoil blanket.
Oh, man.
I know. I thought they were just going to have them.
Yeah.
I was excited for that, and then there was none, which was also fun because it was pretty warm anyway, and I probably would have melted.
That's
but
probably why they didn't have them.
yeah, maybe. A bunch of people had them at the starting line, as well as trash bags. I had never considered that because it was really cold, and I guess that it's like a way to like insulate yourself, and then like you can just sort of like peel off
Rip
the trash bag and just like even like stuff it in your pocket or something, and you'd be fine. But so anyway, long story short, finished the marathon. It went well. It is probably the hardest physical endeavor I've ever done in my life, which probably took the crown from the Linville Gorge hike.
Oh, man.
Which I would say had before been the hardest physical challenge I had ever done.
Okay.
So the past couple of years.
Yeah, walk us through your marathon experience. Like, I feel like we've talked about that you did it and like how tired you were, but like, yeah, paint us a word picture of the experience.
Of the experience. Goodness gracious. Well, I would say, for starters, I felt like maybe we were more underprepared for it than I expected, which maybe I should have been able to see because your wife, Beth, I have nothing but like the utmost respect for because when she trained for her marathon in Chicago last August?
Yeah,
September?
whenever it was. I can't remember.
Yes, approximately that time.
For the Chicago Marathon last year.
That's the one.
Yes.
I felt like she followed the training plan to the letter. Like she did such a good job of doing like all the peripheral runs, all the additional training, the cross training, like whatever the extra bits were in order to be like well prepared for game day. And I think that like with my schedule and like lifestyle and like the way that I was going to try to like incorporate this, like it was like, well, I'm just going to continue to go to like my normal gym. And then like on the weekends, I'll do like my long runs. And then during lunch some days, I'll go for like a midday run, like with Big Steve, who like works nearby.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, this'll work out. And it was kind of like that maybe isn't true. Like all those peripheral runs are very vital towards like just building like this strength in your legs that is essential for such a ridiculously long run. So we get out there. Everything honestly is going pretty great. We were shooting for like 10-minute pace, 10:30 pace was sort of like what we had been training at. So like we're out there, we're rolling, like, you know, the gun goes off or whatever. And the first mile was downhill, which was really nice. We had like our first 1 mile split.
Yeah.
Kind of like booking it.
Boom.
I know. But the thing was, you're running with all the half marathon runners as well. So like you're in like this huge pack of people that's like kind of meandering through the first chunk of it. And so that was really fun because you're always sort of like wrapped up in the experience, and there's there's bands playing, and like you're running through like all the neighborhoods, like where the community, like the local community has like gotten involved, and there were people outside like handing out like, you know, champagne or beer or, you know, like fruit, you know, and then they've got like all the aid stops and everything, which in our group, this was like another little funny ism, was like it was me, brother-in-law Mike, and Big Steve.
Right.
And we all sort of had like slightly different approaches, but brother-in-law Mike was like all about all the aid stops. So anywhere that there was like a course sanctioned like water and Gatorade, or like a gel, or like they had these like BioFreeze stations, which is like a kind of like an aerosol menthol spray type something or another that like helps cool your legs or muscles or
nice.
Something.
That's cool.
Yeah, those were pretty cool. But like for whatever reason, I had this like built-in like hesitant for like the first half of the race. Like the first
interesting.
half marathon, where it was almost like growing up, I almost feel like we were taught by like coaches or something to not take water at the water stops. Like, don't slow down.
Right.
You know, which, like, for the record, is the incorrect advice. Slow down, take the hydration.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Mike might have had the right idea to
100%.
like it just reminds me of like being on the hike where it's just like, yeah, at no point should you really ever stop like fueling yourself because you're just burning calories faster than you could possibly imagine.
Yes.
And you need to be replenishing that because once you cross a certain line, it doesn't matter if you put it back up, you're gonna have to go to sleep or
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think as the day progressed, that certainly became very, very, very apparent. But I will say that this is the first ever half marathon I did when I was 14. And at mile 8, I remember there was the song 99 Red Balloons was playing.
Yeah.
And I remember it jazzed me up so much. And it was like, I was like so stoked. And so similarly out on the course at mile 8, I ran past a little colonel on the sideline who was cheering. Yes.
Wow.
Like, and so like I heard someone like yelling my name or whatever. And like, I was like, you know, I mean, of course you're in like a huge group of people. So at any point in time, it could just be someone else.
Right.
And you know, so like I'm like sort of like my head's like on a swivel and I like look over and there's like a girl standing there with like a Go Ben sign. And it had like the Super Carlin Brothers like head on it. And I was like, no freaking way. Like,
that's so cool.
So shout out to, I wish I knew the name of that person. If you were that person and can email me and let me know, I just wanted to express my gratitude for you for being out there on the course and for being, you know, supportive and everything. It literally made a difference. Like
I believe
it gave me so much like joy and excitement. And I was like, oh my, and so yeah, I was like saying, you know, like thanks. She's like, I'm a little colonel, and I was like, oh my god,
that's so cool.
It was really cool.
Man, I remember, when Beth did the Chicago Marathon, like one of her like tips to people like going in to do a marathon was like one of the things they did was her and her like group of people all had singlets made and they had their names on the front.
Oh yeah.
And so like she like you know wouldn't have thought too much of it, but then as you're running, like so many people would just be like, go Beth, because they can like see what your name is, and so just random strangers could cheer her on in that way. So it was like, hey, put your name on yourself in some way.
Yeah, that's maybe not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. I'll remember that for next time.
Yeah.
My bib said, hi Addison.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, that's great.
I thought that was pretty cool because I was like, you know, they weren't able to be there, so I was like, at some point in time, I have like a picture framed or something in the house, then they'd be like, you know, in the future she'll see it and see that like I had like a little
that you were thinking of her that day.
Yeah, exactly. Like a hello from the past type thing. So anyway, the other big piece of advice coming into the day was again, like our parents ran marathons growing up, and so Dad had told me think of mile 20 as halfway, and that is hard to do. Yeah, because like but the thing is that it was so true. It was really good advice. So I got to you know mile 20, which was the longest run we had ever done. I got a text from you, which was amazing, which came through on my Fitbit.
Nice.
Which, speaking of, Big Mike just texted me and said, Big Mike.
Big Mike, wow.
I just merged names in my head. He just said, yum, so I have no idea what that's about. Literally, as I was gesturing to my watch, I got a text from Mike. But it was cool because, so if people are running a marathon and they have like a smartwatch or something, text them during the race, because I got a text from you that was like, mile 20, every step you take now is the furthest distance you've ever traveled, like during a run. And it was like, oh, that's so cool.
Right.
So that was super helpful. But also when I was 100% hitting a wall.
I bet. Yeah. It's like, ooh, it's one of those things where it's amazing that you can even run 20 miles at all. And it's like, you could get to 20 miles and be feeling great, and then get to 20 and a half miles and start feeling really bad. And it's like, even though you're done with a huge majority of the race, if you were to just like go outside and be like, yeah, it's like 5.5 miles from here, just walk it, like that's going to take you a very long time to walk.
Yes, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
And so that was the thing. So in the way that they have the course set up is the last 6 miles are effectively like it's a 3 mile out and a 3 mile back. So as you turn this corner and it's like taking you down to like this park. So as you're turning the corner, people who are that far ahead of you are heading in the opposite direction.
Right.
So the entire time that you're going out, you're actively passing people who are coming back, who have like already made it that much further. So the whole time you're just like, I'm sitting there just like in just sheer envy of like
the turnaround
of the position that they're in. But like as we turn the corner for this 6 mile out, 3 mile out, 3 mile back rather for the last 6, our GMA John is literally heading in the opposite direction. So at this point in time, he's a full hour ahead of us on the course.
Man.
But it was also really cool because we were so stoked to see him because like when you're out in this like sea of people, you're like, I'm not going to see anybody I know.
Yeah, no,
And
right.
So when we saw him, we're like, John, you got it, man. And you know, of course, at that point in time, he has like half a mile left.
Right, like he's almost there. Yeah.
Like, oh my God, it's amazing. But this was when all three of us were just going into like pure survival mode.
Right.
It was like at that point, it was like at every stop, I was like, yes, I will take a banana. Yes, I will take an orange. Yes, I will take a Gatorade. Yes, I will take a water.
Right.
Like I will take one of everything that you are willing to give me.
Give me the stuff, man. I need some fuel.
Yes.
Right.
So we were definitely just taking in as much as we possibly could. I think I got to mile 23 and a half, 24. And I finally my legs were destroyed. I mean, like literally like, you'd be like, what part hurts? And it was like, all of it hurts.
All of it hurts.
Every part hurts. I changed my stride just a tiny bit. I found a pace that I could like lock into. And it was just sort of like, that was like, I wasn't trying to go fast. I wasn't trying to go slow. I wasn't trying to conserve energy. All I was trying to do was not stop, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I did actually, at this point in time, I'd run with Steve and Mike all the way up until this moment. I did start pulling away a little bit, which was not super intentional. It just kind of happened. And then I was kind of like, okay, like the adrenaline's kicking in. You're like starting to realize like your body,
You're gonna finish.
Your body has this like amazing ability to like
Yeah.
dump super fuel into itself.
Right.
And you're like, whoa, what the heck? Like
What's going
it's like I was dying like 2 miles ago and I feel better now than I did then. And like, this is happening. Like,
Right.
like I can see, and you're finishing at the Tennessee Titans football stadium. And so like, then
That's cool.
you start to see it, you know, and it's like, it's there. I just have to get there. And out of nowhere, at like 25 and a half. So I've been by myself now for maybe 20 minutes or so. Out of nowhere, Steven comes barreling up next to me. He's like, you didn't think I was going to let you finish without me, did you? And I was like, dude, I could have cried. Like, I was like to have like my buddy there with me in that moment. I was just like, oh my God. Like he had, I think that, because I had like recruited, you know, the group to do this thing, and I think that he knew that like doing it together was like a huge part of like my motivation, like why I wanted to be out there and everything. And he was like, he had been, you know, he was talking with Mike. He's like, I gotta go like find Ben. I gotta finish it out with him. So he like took off. He ran like 2 back-to-back 8-minute miles to catch me.
Man,
you know, from
had his own adrenaline dump.
yes, absolutely.
Whew.
So he totally booked it in. We were able to make it, you know, like you get to the last like finishing shoot, and it like literally takes you like 3 big turns around the stadium. So you're at the stadium, you're looking at the stadium. There's like Marcus Mariota, is he still the quarterback, whatever, just like a
Right.
gigantic image of like these football players.
Right.
And you're like, okay, we made it to the stadium. And then it's like, and then you turn, and then you turn, and then you turn. You're like, where is the end?
Finish line.
I was like, oh my gosh, now I'm gonna cry for a different reason because I just
Yeah.
want it to be over.
Like, come on, we got to be there.
Got through, and just like, I mean, I literally what I wanted to do when I crossed the finish line was lay on the ground in the fetal position.
Yeah.
I was like, that was the hardest thing. That was, oh my gosh,
Because then you still have to like walk a bunch, I'm sure, to get through the chute and stuff. And
Yeah, we have to walk a bunch to get through the chute. And even then, like, in order just to even, like, leave, I was like, I'm going to have to walk probably another mile just to exit the premises.
Right.
Just to get to the point where an Uber will pick us up, which is what ended up happening. And eventually I started getting to the point where I was okay. I could move. I could do, like, whatever. But, yeah, probably took one of the longer showers of my life. Also,
I bet you
eventually.
did.
Yeah,
I bet you did, man.
So anyway, I made it through. It was, and I appreciate all of the support. I know that the Patreon Discord, everybody was tracking me. I was getting messages all day. It was really, really, really like unbelievable and awesome to have so much community around you.
Yeah.
Kind of like funneling in, being supportive of your experience.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it was awesome. It was really fun, like, tracking you guys. I was just like, you know, me and Beth had our phones out all day. And we're like, oh, man, they're 20 miles. And, you know, like, oh, It was really great. And then you guys finished. So yeah, we were just like super proud of you back at home too. And I mean, well done. You did it. Marathon done.
Bucket list item is complete. The big joke that we keep saying, and I'm stealing this 100%. I was getting my hair cut several weeks ago, and the guy in the thing in the chair next to me or whatever overheard me talking to the woman who cuts my hair, and I was talking about the marathon. He was like, "Oh, I ran 2 marathons in one day," and I was like, "No way!" Like I was like, "That is so impressive." And he was like, "Yep, my first one and my last one." And I was like, "That is so good. That is so good, Larry." That's his name.
That's his name, Larry. Let me tell you something, Ben. That is a joke I have been familiar with since, I think, 10th grade.
No way.
Yes, because you know who used to make this joke all the time?
Who?
Was John Jennings' dad.
Really?
Yes.
That is amazing.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That for the same reason?
Yeah, for the same reason. Because like you ran a marathon. Yeah, 2 in one day. First and my last.
Oh my gosh, that's so incredible. That is so incredible. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know for sure if it'll be my first or last. I know that like we've talked about like the Linville Gorge hike before, and I know the first time that I did it, that was one of those where like I got to the end of it, and I think even you were just like, you heard me just be like, "Man, I don't know if they had fun." Like that seemed rough. And then 2 years later, I think enough time had passed, and I was like open to it.
Yeah,
but
I'll do it again.
right now, I'm not interested in doing it again.
Sure.
I'd be interested in doing Linville again, but I'm not interested in running another marathon, at least right this moment.
At least right now.
Which is what I was going to say. Like, so in your life, you know, like it's like an interesting and very momentous occasion. Which is that, like, you know, it is something that had been on my list for so long, something I know that I wanted to do for such a long period of time, and without really delving into the full process of like committing to it, it feels kind of like unattainable, you know, like
right.
it's like there's so much time and effort and energy and you know, support, you know, from this, that, or the other in terms of getting there to do it. Like even all these long training runs, you know, like you're going out and I mean, it takes several hours.
Yeah, just to do the training run.
Right. Like on a Saturday morning,
then you're tired, you know, all day.
Exactly. Yeah. So the impact, like even on like Alice or Addison or like, you know, like one of our moms for like watching Addie during those times or something, like, you know, so that it can happen in the first place. It's like, it's such like literal group effort to get you there. And you know that going into it, but the weird like blues that I've been experiencing is that, like, you know, like I've checked this like major life accomplishment, and I'm like almost sad about it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, now I did it. Like, you know,
right.
It's like, and this is, I don't mean for this to sound like super doom and gloom or anything like that, because it's not that way at all. But one of the questions that I think I asked in like year one Super Carlin Brothers is like, what would you do if there was some actual like objective way to say that the best day of your life has already happened?
Oh,
you know, and it's like, it would be like, oh. like you're like, oh man, like that's such a weird thing to think about, because I mean, and this is again, it's like one of those things like where different days can be great for completely different reasons. And you know, it's like, I don't know, like you could have a day that's a 100 out of 10, and then days that are like 97 out of 10.
Right.
And it's like technically the 100 out of 10 would still be better, but 97 out of 10 is still like completely breaking
really
the
great
chart
day
entirely. Yeah. So it's like I don't actually think that it's like as upsetting as I did when I first posed the question.
Right.
But that's always been like one of those where it's like, oh man, like, you know, like there are not many days in my life where like of the potential 30 to 40 items that could be on my potential, you know, bucket list for life.
Yeah.
There's only so many days where I will cross one off.
Right. Sure.
You
That's
know?
true.
And
I mean,
like,
you could just keep adding stuff to your bucket list, I suppose.
Also true.
Yeah.
Also true. You can add as many lines as you want to.
Right. Yeah. There's not like a limit. You're like, well, you can have like 10 things you're really working for.
Can I trade my paper for college ruled instead of wide ruled?
Right. Come on now.
Yeah. Okay. Surely there's more room available.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's been an interesting one. I definitely feel like my since finishing, the biggest thing my mind has been doing is reaching in a bunch of different directions for like what's the next handhold, you know, like what's the next thing I can like pull on.
Right. Yeah. What are you gonna? But like that's interesting because like, did you feel like you were like reaching for a marathon for like like, you know, the last 10 years or something?
No, and that's a great question
Yeah.
because the answer is no.
Right, because
like,
it feels like if you really wanted to do it, like at almost any point, you could have decided to go and like knock this down.
Right. And in a lot of ways, it's like I heard the quote on a podcast the other day that was like, luck is just when opportunity meets preparation.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a you know, like, or Edna mode has like luck.
It's a great trading card game rule. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Luck favors the prepared.
Yeah.
Little Edna. But I think that is like, I think a lot of how like so many major moments of my life, like the major shifts of my life, like have always taken the step forward, you know, is that it's sort of like, and I think that's exactly how this was it was almost like, I mean, truly, I would even credit Beth in a lot of ways as well. Like, you know, it's like coming off of like the excitement, like watching her doing it and like supporting, you know, from afar, as she went through her whole experience and being like, okay, like, you know, like I feel like it's on my radar and I feel like it's almost the new year and like, you know, like New Year's resolutions kind of hard to follow through with, but like, okay, so if I can get a group together and if I can have enough time and then like a destination and like, you know, it was like all the pieces of the puzzle. For me, I felt like the window opened and it was like, okay, I'm inside of a window of time where maybe this time last year where I was just coming off of like having Addie, for example,
right.
That window wasn't open
for
me, like in that moment in terms of like my own mental rationalizations,
right,
and how I go about like allowing myself to take the next big steps. So it's a good question though. Yeah, like you're right. Like it's not like every day for the past 10 years I was thinking like, oh man, gotta run a marathon,
right?
Know? But I think from a very young age, it was something that like that I would have tacked onto the list.
Sure,
you know. So now and there's probably maybe the big motivator from taking that box is like, oh man, I was able to tick like a lifelong aspiration. Like, is it possible more of lifelong aspirations? All I have to do is put the effort in and like they'll happen.
Yeah, pretty much. I think.
I know. Yeah,
more or less.
Why does that not feel so obvious all the time though? You know,
I don't
it's
know.
Like you know, sometimes
and maybe this is like how like you're resistant to like your like crossword brain thing or whatever. Like you said earlier that like it's been like a relief to like just be able to like send your brain to go do something.
Yes.
Yeah, as if like you know, it feels like somewhere in your brain I'm imagining like all these thoughts competing and someone's over like next to the like the automatic figure it out machines, like, you know, we have these, you can just like, could we just send some of you guys out of the bullpen here to like just go figure some stuff out so Ben doesn't have to think about all of you at once, because we can do it. We have him right here. Like, just hop on and it's free.
He never uses them.
Like, we got a whole row of them. Like,
brand new.
Like, I don't know. They're here. We can.
I know, but it's a weird new trick that I feel like I learned at the age of 33 is you can ask your brain to work on things for you and not have to think about them top of mind, and it will work.
Right.
And like, to me, it's like, I feel like it feels like cheating, but it's not. Like, this is like a Name of the Wind thing, like where he like gives like a super clever answer when he's being like interviewed by this cool group of like mercenaries, and they're like, that was a really smart response, and he's like, can I confess something? Like, I don't even know what it means. And it's like, you stole the answer from yourself.
Right.
Like he feels like he cheated, and it's like, what do you mean you cheated?
Right.
Like you thought of the answer and said it.
Yeah.
But that's what it feels like sometimes. It's
yeah.
like,
You stole the answer from yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, so I don't know. Yeah. It's a weird one, but also very, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Good job, man.
Yeah.
You did it.
Are you down for a last minute transition?
Sure.
Bing, bing. Jay.
Yo.
I am excited because you sent me an update over the weekend
I did.
that was pretty cool. It felt like something that, since the knowledge of, or even really, I think from like you were the first of the three brothers to, well, myself included, so between you, me, and our younger brother Tyler, to have a child.
Correct.
And when you guys discovered you were pregnant, it was while we were really into rock climbing. And I got a message from you over the weekend, and you were able to like do the thing and brought a child rock climbing.
Yes, I did. Yeah. So this past Saturday, It was actually, there was supposed to be a marathon in Roanoke as well, the Blue Ridge Marathon. It ended up getting canceled because of thunder,
I know.
which like, oh my gosh, such a bummer. I feel so bad for the people who like had traveled from out of state. This is like marketed as like, you know, the toughest road marathon in America. So it's like some people like really like hone in on this one in particular to like do something really hard.
Yes.
And like the training for it is no joke. The mountains are no joke. And like I cannot look, I mean, I feel so bad for them because I cannot, first of all, tell you the last time it thunderstormed here. And I especially can't remember the last time it was thundering at 9 a.m.
Right.
Like that just doesn't happen here. And so that it happened on marathon day just was terrible because they
Yeah.
had to call the race and they had to shut it down. So that was a real bummer. I was supposed to be at the finish line calling names out for people as they came across the line
Right. Yep.
with our dad. And like as I'm heading out the door to go relieve him is when the thunder happened. So I ended up not having to do that. But in the meantime, that meant like we had I don't know, the afternoon was suddenly open to us where we were sort of expected to just sort of be at the race all morning and stuff. But now we had like more of a free morning, free day. And so Beth was feeling tired. She'd gone for a 10-mile run that morning herself, not related to the marathon at all. She's training for a different race in 2 weeks.
Go Beth.
Yeah, no, in DC. Gonna do the half marathon up there. Gonna be awesome. But in the afternoon, we had some time, and Luke was trying to think of like, what could we go do today? And he was like, I can only think of 3 things. And he listed off like Kids Square and trampoline park and Chuck E. Cheese. And I was like, those are like such good inside activities for you to think of.
Those are all fantastic kids plans.
Yeah, they're all fantastic kids plans. And it's like he recognized that it was raining, so we couldn't do outside things. He was trying to think of things we could do to leave the house and still go have fun inside somewhere.
Love it.
Yeah, so it was good. He didn't come up with movies, which is surprising. But although he's already seen like the one kids movie that's out right now, so
He'll get there.
There is
He'll get
that.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, so then Beth was like, what about the rock climbing gym? And I was like, yes, let's do that. But
Let's go.
immediately she decided she was too tired to go. So she just stayed at home with Dick and Nate. And I was like, and me and Luke headed out to the rock climbing gym. And it was such a cool feeling. Cause like, yeah, you're right. Like we used to go like 2 or 3 times a week, and we probably would have gone more. But the thing about rock climbing is after you've gone once, you need like a full day's worth of recovery. Like you just can't go again the next day or your muscles won't recover. And you're,
It's literally like the only, so you were talking about like the walking addiction.
Yeah.
Like the rock climbing is the only physical activity I've ever done in my life where it was like literally the only reason why I'm not going every day is because I have to let myself recover.
Right.
Or I won't be able to do it.
Exactly, because like you will injure yourself because your muscles are not there. But anyway, having not done it really in any amount of consistency for the past 5 years, my muscles were not there personally.
Yeah. Very specific muscles. rock
Very
climbing.
specific muscles. Yeah, it's all in your hands and fingertips, and it is a very weird set of muscles to have to develop. And we like lift weights and stuff, and so like. It was such a weird feeling being like on the wall because like you have all of this muscle memory about like how to move your body and how to position yourself and stuff. And then you'd go to like reach for even what might be considered like a very easy or like beefy hold. Just like I can tell I can reach up there and grab it, and you'd grab it and your hand would be shaking and you're like brain is telling your fingers to grab it and they're like doing their best. They're like trying to grab it and you're just like, I can't, my whole arm is shaking. And if I put weight on it, like, and then you just fall and you're like, man, like that's such an easy hold. I should be able to do it. And you just can't hold on anymore. So it was like a little frustrating, but also just fun to be back there at all doing it. And yeah, that was fun. But so yeah, we brought Luke there. And he especially loves it when it's just like solo time with him and, me or Beth. Right. So he was loving that aspect of it. And there's these big like blue mat squashy floors. So he was having just as much fun like running around on that as he was on the walls. But we'd found like 3 or 4 spots on the walls where he could like really actually like find some holds, do some climbing, get up. And of course he's only going like 5 or 6 feet up off the ground or something.
Right.
But it was so cool watching him just like get on the wall and like sort of immediately just like know what to do. Just maneuvering around the rocks and stuff. And like, we probably have some videos we can put up whilst I'm describing it here, but like I would watch him and it was so cool watching like his brain, like solve the wall in the moment, like where am I going to put my hand for this, and then like, oh, I need to move my foot here first, then okay, I need to match hands here, and then like I reach around the corner and then shift my weight around and then move my foot here, and it was like it just looked like so natural. It was
very intuitive.
Yeah, it was extremely intuitive, and it was just like I was like watching him do stuff, and I'd be like, man, I remember like having someone like teach me like, yeah, sometimes the best thing you can do is like match hands, which is like where you have a hand on a hold and then you like just put your second hand on the hold,
right?
As opposed to like finding a whole new rock for that hand to go to. And like I remember being taught that, and like he's just doing it like immediately, or like I could see spots where his like foot would slip, and I think the first I've seen it many a time where people would be up there and if their foot slipped, they'd be like, I'm off balance, and then just let go of the wall, and it'd be like, nope, foot slipped, just move my body around, find the foot, find your feet again, whatever.
Right.
Find your feet, that's another word, another phrase you hear a lot, like find your feet, right? And it was just like he's just doing it, and it was like it's so amazing to me how intuitive certain things are for children, and like how as you grow up, like they become a little less innate over time.
No, it really is. It's completely fascinating. It's funny because we were talking about it a little bit, like with like slides. So I think you were telling me because you like Alice and Addison joined the rest of the family, you guys included, at the park over the weekend, and you were talking about how like like Addie was like doing all the slides and everything, and it was like yay. But also there's like this phase where it's like they're young enough to not be worried about it, so they're like totally brave, like yes, I'm gonna go do the slide.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like they get old enough to recognize the danger, and then it's like, I don't know about this.
The slide's pretty high up,
like-
but it's like you've done it before, and it's like that doesn't matter.
Right, yeah. It's like before I was naive.
Right.
Now I know.
Right.
And it's like I do think that as humans we go through this like over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's almost just like rinse and repeat life experiences. It's like no, like I was fine that one time because of these reasons, and it's like no, you were fine that one time, you could do it again. It's like no, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really
like I sometimes I think about this like do you know the water park Emerald Point?
yes.
Okay, so if you've ever been to Emerald Point in North Carolina, their big super attraction slide is called Daredevil Drop.
Yeah, it is.
And I have done Daredevil Drop in my life probably like, I don't know, 15 or 20 times.
Wow.
Or whatever.
Humble brag much?
No big deal. No big deal. But sometimes I will think about Daredevil Drop and I will get like the full body sweats. And I'm like, I don't like... The fact is, like, I probably haven't gone to Emerald Point the last time in my life. Like, we'll probably have to bring the kids there at some point. And if we go, I'll have to do it. There's no way around it. I'll have to do it. And I'm nervous about it right now. And it's like, why are you nervous about it? You've done it before. It's fun. You've done it multiple times in a day. What are you nervous about? And it's like, I'm nervous that it's a really tall slide. And what if I fall off that slide? And it's like, that's impossible. You can't fall off the slide. If you could fall off the slide, they wouldn't allow the slide to exist.
Right. Yeah.
It's like no, I'm pretty sure I can't do it again. And you're like, of course you could do it again.
Right. No, it's so true. It's so true. I mean, and I have had that. I was so in response to doing my bucket list item. One of the other things I did when I did my study abroad in Australia, New Zealand, was bungee jumping.
Yeah.
And when I went, it was like I wasn't even scared to do it.
Right.
I was like nothing but excited.
Yeah, you're just excited to do it.
And now I'm like, I don't know what that.
Think I would. Yeah.
I don't know what that me was thinking, but no, like clearly he wasn't.
I'm afraid not. Yeah. Could you do it again? Yeah.
Right, I know. It's like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like and it's so far away from me physically and geographically. It's like on the physical other side of the planet.
Right.
It's like I don't have to worry about it because it's so far away.
Right. You're like, but it's like, yeah, that's such a great example. But there's like part of you that's like, if I ever find myself back there's not going to be any situation in which I'll be able to say I don't want to do it because I've already done it.
Because I've already done it.
I've got proof of purchase. Like there's videos. I've talked about it.
Right.
I did it. I probably am the part of the reason people wanted to be here right now.
Right. I have now influenced other people to be here.
I have influenced myself back to the situation, and now I really don't want to do it. But wow, what do I do?
They are so much more bravery than I am. Oh man,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
So I don't know. Maybe it's the exact same thing. Maybe it's just like that like window of like of like opportunity or whatever. Like maybe like I said, like I feel like coming into this year, I had a good window of opportunity to do this thing. And like everything lined up, and I was able to go through and do the race. And maybe that's how other things work too. And it's like my window is just currently closed towards bungee jumping just today.
Right. That's just it.
Because I need a way to rationalize
Right.
this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So this is just, who knows? But anyway, Addison was very brave. And she did some little climbing herself at the playground, which I was like, man, she's just going for it. Look at her go.
Just go. I know, it makes me so excited.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to go and see her do that, because that would definitely be like on my a huge on my list. Is just gonna be like watching her go and do these little problem solving moments. Like there's just nothing cooler than watching your child think and seeing that they are in fact figuring it out.
It is, yeah. So like I know we've talked about like, me and Luke will play chess sometimes at night, and of course he's not like implementing any sort of like long-term strategy or anything. But his favorite piece is the rooks. Or he likes being able to like get them out. So it's not like no one would ever play chess like this in real life. But like one of the things he'll do sometimes when we're playing is he'll like move the pawn in front of the rook, the 2 spaces out, and then his next turn he'll just move the rook up to the opening spot, and then he'll move it to the center of the board. Like 3 turns in a row, he's like, I just spent this time developing my rook. And it's like it's not really like advisable gameplay, but
he's following a path.
But he is following a path, and he likes to get it out. I'm like, whatever, do whatever you want. And like the other night, like there's plenty of times where I'm just like, well, I'm just gonna choose not to steal your rook right now.
Sure.
Yeah, but
good dad play.
Yeah. But like the other night, I had like a pawn and a knight separated by 2, like a square, so like 1 square in between them, and he moves his rook up, and he's like, I'm gonna move this here to attack you twice, and I was like, yes, you are. I was like, it's amazing that you knew exactly what moving the rook there would do and could describe it with those words. Like, because what you've said, like what he really did, he created a fork. It was like, no, it doesn't matter which one you move, I can take the other one,
Oh.
Yeah. Which is like, it's that in and of itself is like very good chess play. Like you want to make like forks are always like so dangerous because it normally requires you to like move one to protect the other, or sacrifice a piece, or like attack something else so they can't steal your piece in the meantime, or something like that. But like, I know he got it up there, it was like I'm attacking 2 at once, and I was like, that was pretty good. The fact that you knew what moving that piece there was accomplishing was like a new level of thought.
You're so screwed.
Yeah, I know. I was like, part of me's like I so badly. I'm like, I've like thought like, should I just look? I want to look up like a chess coach in Roanoke and just like start bringing him there. And I'm like, if I did that, he would start beating me so fast. I think like I don't think I'm particularly good at chess. I'm just sort of like making it up as I go and trying to like apply like the best basic principles that I like just have learned over the years. I don't have like a plan in place. I feel like he could beat me pretty quick with like actual coaching or something.
I wonder if this is like the combination of like your like innate strategy brain with also like Beth's just like intelligence that she possesses as well, now funneled into one small human.
Oh man, I mean, we can only hope.
Everybody watch out. Everybody watch out. It's coming. It's coming. Oh my gosh. Well, good luck, Lukester.
Yeah.
I do hope that someday he comes back and listens to all these episodes and sees how excited we are for him.
I'm so excited.
And yeah, exactly.
I would be thrilled too if he could beat me, because you know what? I don't think I ever beat our dad at chess.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if he just like was like, no, if I let him win, that's I gotta make it. I'm going to play a real game with him.
Right. Like,
yeah.
come
gotta make him earn it.
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe that's helped like develop yours as well.
Yeah. Maybe this is the real. Maybe this is like the sticking point. Is like I think this is like when we were growing up, that was definitely like my attitude as well. Like, at least towards like probably you and Tyler. Like, look, if I go easy on you, you're not really gonna learn.
That is such an older sibling sentiment.
Exactly. It's not like maybe if your goal is to help them learn, maybe you should like coach them through the situation, or like give them new tips or whatever. To be like, if I give you tips, you're gonna be able to beat me. Like,
I don't want that.
What you need to do is recognize what my strategy is and think of a way to work around it.
Around it.
Clear. If you want to win, you're gonna have to work for it. All right. I'm not gonna tell you the controls. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, I never could learn any of the combos in any of the fighting games, none whatsoever. So my strategy, we had the Power Ranger like fighting game or whatever, where you could just like punch each other.
Yep.
I basically had one move, which was two moves: jump and punch.
Yeah.
But
I would love to fire that game up right now because I can tell you I still remember all the combos.
I know you do. How? Why? Okay.
I don't know, Ben. I don't know.
How does the Black Ranger do the spinny move?
No, it's just tap A or B as fast as you can.
What? That was it?
That was it.
The whole time?
Yeah, B is faster, A is slower. I don't know why you do A ever, but yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of The Pop. I need to go wallow. That's what's happening next in my day, in case you're curious. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much to everybody who sent in your support of my marathon last weekend. I do very, very, very much appreciate all the kind words and congratulations, and shout out to the little colonel who was out on the course. That was exceptionally cool.
Yeah.
Guys, as a reminder, we do have the exclusive quarterly merch Deneen coffee mug, the popcorn culture mug that is currently in production. These are truly, like, if you've never bought one of the animal mugs from Carlin Brothers Coffee before, it is made by the same people. They are just the best mugs. Like, I always think about like sort of it always feels very jokey, like when you hear about like food reviewers talking about like mouthfeel or something.
Yes.
But clay feel or something, like the pottery, the weight.
Are you talking about like the feel in your hands?
Yeah.
Like so just regular feeling.
The regular feeling.
Yeah, the regular thing you touch things with.
So, okay, did I just describe feeling to
Yeah,
people?
you just described the
Guys.
You know how you have this sense called touch?
You know how like when you pick things up, you know that you're holding them? It's
Yeah.
like that.
It's like that, but
And
like in
it's-
a really good way.
But in a really good way.
Yeah.
It's very satisfying. Anyway, that is available on the exclusive quarterly merch tier over at patreon.com/popcornculture. We do very much appreciate your support. The link to that is in the show notes. Otherwise, until next time.
Pop, pop.